And so you learn over the course of these events, you know, how to juggle not just the spell casting, but also it reinforces an understanding of another
On a
feature
perdu
of the
3 secondes,
wheel, which
c'est pas
is their
trop grave, mais
cooldowns. So as you're casting
je sais
spells,
pas pourquoi
just
il
to
y a
make sure that
ce
you're not just kind of
souci
like
avec les
repeatedly
cookies.
using one thing over and over and over again. You can see cooldowns on the spells that he's using on the wheel. And then as you progress through the game, there are different things that can affect things, like cooldowns through your talents, different things that allow you to kind of like juggle and adjust and update those things. And so if you hold down R2 and you tap the D-pad, it will switch between your other diamonds if you've unlocked them, and that's how you access all those.
Oh man, it looks like we're about to get some action over here.
Yeah. So this is a great way to kind of learn how to pull things together,
So you
pull those
Leviosa
combos
right
together.
Here. Yeah. Tap, Accio, tap, tap, tap. Awesome.
Well
Good
done,
job,
Andrew.
Andrew.
Les combos ont l'air
And that's
sympas
just
quand même.
against the dummy, but I mean,
I'd say that's enough practice. You looked good out there.
Thank you, Lucan.
I say better to discover one's weaknesses during practice than during a duel. You'll be a fearsome challenger now.
I think now we can take on something a little more challenging. It's going to shoot back.
Now let's talk about some more features of the combat system.
Hello, Lucan. Is the next round of crossed wands all set?
Why, yes it is. I've got a great match lined up. Ready for another round?
We're on a PS5 dev kit here, so we're going to be able to kind of pause
I'm
the
ready.
action
Yeah.
and talk about what you're seeing on the screen, because there's about to be a lot going on.
Okay.
Ok, donc il y a beaucoup de choses à expliquer. Moi ça me va. Moi ça me va.
All right, here you can
Plus vous en
select,
en
if
expliquez,
you want
mieux
to
c'est.
fight with somebody else, some of
One
your
of the other
classmates.
students.
Yeah.
But in this case, we're not. We want that action to feel a little more frantic.
Ouais, c'est sympa le
towards
coup
you, really get
d'expérience
that sense
affiché dans le blason, je suis d'accord.
of combat.
Je suis d'accord.
So apparently you've got quite the reputation because they've got you up against
Yeah,
3 people.
3, yeah.
Apologies.
Off the jump.
So I can explain this just because I know people are going to go into it, but we can probably just kind of jump in. You're not the only one that has Protego and the ability to deflect. The enemies do too. And we actually play with that when it comes to the spell casting. So you notice that there are different colored kind of shields around the different characters. And you also notice that your spells have different
Franchement,
colors
ça a
on
l'air
them.
plutôt
So,
cool.
to help players understand kind of like the function of their spells, we're trying to put them
Même
into
les
brackets.
mouvements du
So
perso et
there are
tout,
damage spells, there are force spells, there are I'm forgetting the other one, all this control spells.
J'aime bien, alors,
And so those things for the player,
Avalanche au
they
studio.
wind up also being a color indicator
Et
for
du coup, t'as
which
vraiment le côté,
actual spell to use to break
c'est
the
de
different
parer un
shields
peu de,
that,
alors,
enemies
un
can
peu,
use.
de,
That way it
tu sais,
rewards kind
des
of like that
arcams
closer
entre guillemets.
attention that you're paying
C'est genre en mode tu vas
We've got
parer
this paused here
le
now,
truc qui arrive
and
à
you can
gauche,
see
pendant ce
all
temps
the
tu peux
elements
attaquer
on
à
the
droite.
screen, the halo around the avatar's head, each of the different shields, to kind of give us a breakdown of what's
Give us
going
a breakdown of different things that you're saying. So you notice at the top that we're kind of like calling out which enemy you currently have targeted and their level and health. And so, you know, as you target different characters, you'll be able to get that breakdown. The halo over your head, whenever an enemy is about to an attack, it's almost like you have a little bit of a sixth sense for those things that are coming.
C'est ça.
If you see the halo, it means there's an incoming attack, and if you tap the triangle button by default, then that you'll be able to deflect that attack that comes in and off with Protego.
And I love that deflect where it goes off and like hits things up and kind of breaks things off walls too.
But also, if you hold the button, then it doesn't just deflect. It also deflects and turns around with a counter attack stupefy that actually stuns the enemy. And you can use that even in your combos and stuff. So if you're focused on a character, you know, and you're doing your thing, and someone else attacks you, you can actually turn
stylé,
that
les
attack
interactions avec
into a direct
l'environnement
attack on
aussi.
the person that you're comboing.
Back into gameplay here. Andrew's gonna pretty handily finish these.
Ah, c'est tellement stylé ça. Et du coup, tu
students
peux
off
choper
their
les objets avec R1.
wins duel.
How fast it is.
Regarde.
It's like a dance.
J'adore. Ouais, c'est ça, on dirait un peu une espèce de danse quand il...
Yeah, we really felt like in the movies, there's almost like a.
Et du coup, t'as la jauge de combo en bas à droite.
It's kind of like a. There's this element of kind of like fencing from a very great distance,
That's such a good call.
and there are a lot of things that we had to do with our controls and combat system in order to kind of capitalize on that idea that's pretty unique to the Wizarding world.
Understandable.
Well, perhaps you should try that next time. The other duelists have already taken notice of you, but after that last round, they'll really have it in for you. You'd better keep practicing if you want a chance at winning. Or at least surviving the next round. I'll let you know when we're ready. Hope to see you then. The next round is for all the gobstones, so to speak.
And that
Ça,
is
c'est
more
cool.
or less going to wrap it up for us for now, for what we wanted to show you.
Ouais, le système de combat a l'air sympa, mais en fait, c'est surtout l'espèce de chorégraphie aussi qui a l'air cool.
Little taste of combat, but we didn't want to leave you without, well, maybe a little taste of something that we may show in the future, may show next time. You know, so leaving the castle, going out here.
Oh là là, regarde-moi ça, regarde ça.
More owls confirmed.
Owl mail. Oh, there's the owlry again. Yes, all of the owls. But yeah, just heading out here again to show you like from Hogwarts to the world beyond Hogwarts. And
Oh man.
this is not somewhere where we're going today, but we will definitely be
Ah
taking
mais attends, on
you
peut aller
in the
où on
future.
veut en fait.
A little glimpse at the scale of the castle back there. All right, so we're gonna wrap things up here, but
No!
I hope you guys have enjoyed everything that you've seen. But I think, James, you may have a few other questions here at the end of things. So
Yes.
while we're done with what we're showing on the gameplay side,
Ah ouais, en
I
tant
know
que
there's
fan,
a
en
few
vrai, je
things
pouvais
that
pas
you wanna
rêver mieux.
pick
Mais ouais.
and Boston's brains about.
I would love that because there's a lot. Let me grab it. All right, so some of these questions we did pull from.
J'en
the
bave,
community,
j'en bave.
secretly, but I did pull from the community. So,
And also
Février
from,
paraît si
I mean,
loin,
going
ouais.
through this, I feel like
Yeah.
you've come up with some things you want to talk a little more about.
Ah, c'est en
I'm sure.
stream Day
elaborate
One,
on, 'cause we
ici.
went through character
Moi, je vous dis, c'est
customization,
nuit blanche sur le jeu
Hogwarts
dès la
stuff, and
sortie.
even combat. So, this would be like for the both of you guys. Will we be able to go back and change our character creation if we don't like it?
So not everything, but there are certain things with hairstyle, hair color. So kind of like core shapes,
Okay.
you know, like with the body and face, not after the fact.
Okay.
But there are lots of
Il y a un
things. There's
coiffeur
kind of
après
a
au large,
barbershop
j'aime
in
bien.
Hogsmeade that you can go to, and
Of course, there's
inside
a
of
wizard
there,
barber,
you can
right?
customize, yeah.
You could change your hair color for holidays or something, right?
Oh my gosh, that would be so cool.
And the game features a lot of appearance customization in it, so there's a ton of options there. But
Ça va être incroyable.
that's in terms of like your character and stuff that you have, the character creator. It's like a smaller set of what you saw there.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Awesome, awesome. Next question. What kind of leisurely activity can we do? Can we study with our free time? I mean, what will we be doing just hanging out in Hogwarts?
Because as you progress through the game, there's a bunch of different missions that open up. Most of
Yes,
them are
encore un peu
driven
plus
by
de
different
mois, ouais.
characters' personalities. You know, some of them want help getting up to hijinks, or some of them want to just explore secrets in the castle.
Ah,
because
j'ai hâte de me
there
balader
are
en
new
Préolard
secrets
aussi,
in
hein.
our castle to explore. And so, so I think there's a bunch of things to do. And when it comes to class, as I mentioned earlier, it's not just kind of like the mainline stuff. There are kind of like extracurricular assignments, some of which are optional, some of which are kind of like blockers for main mission. Kind of like you
Okay.
can't go on this mission
Right.
until you have the spell. And then the spell is open, you
Got
know,
it.
the assignment and how you complete it
Yeah, yeah.
with your professor. And so there are opportunities to study, so to speak, like with that.
Right.
But they do all take the form of our mission structure. Yeah.
As you mentioned earlier.
J'achète.
Wow. Let's get into some combat right quick. Do spells have different levels or are they all equal?
Do spells have different levels, or are they all
Ah, est-ce que
equal?
les-
I'm trying
oui,
to
c'est
think
une
of
bonne
how to
question.
describe that. So each spell has kind of like its own core identity and what it does in the game with regards to both kind of like puzzling, world exploration, and enemy combat and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then it's through the talent system,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
When you go into that, it's kind of like each of those spells has ways to kind of like advance and grow and change.
Okay.
And as you spend talents, in some cases, it even changes like the way you approach the battlefield and things like that. So I'd say that's no more true than with like dark arts, for example.
Right.
And as you go down that line and you kind of play around with those talents, it really does start to kind of like affect even how you approach combat and how you think about the battlefield.
I won't be touching the dark art stuff, but I know many of you guys will be.
Maybe on your second playthrough.
Yeah,
C'est
second
ça,
playthrough, yeah.
prenez mon argent de ouf.
Upcoming, hashtag soon.
Ouais, non, non, mais
I want to
vraiment.
close off with this question, and this will be for everybody, and we'll start with Boston. With this game that you guys have been working on for however long, and the excitement you guys have, what's one aspect of Hogwarts Legacy that you are excited for the fans to experience? Boston.
I think I'm just excited for the fans to play through the world, specifically the castle, and maybe go read those books again. I hope that either whether you're already a fan and love this game, or this is your first introduction into the world, I hope they just point at each other in the best way possible. And I'm just excited for fans to get to finally go to Hogwarts and feel like they can own it and live there. I've lived there for 5 years. It's a great place to live. Official 5th year.
It's really funny because I want to give a different answer and I will, but I actually feel like the most honest answer is really similar, because my favorite thing when running around playing the game and getting to know Hogwarts the way Boston knows it, because she knows the school. And
ouais, vous inquiétez pas, il y aura la rediff sur la chaîne, hein, évidemment.
Because you want the person architecting it to really know that.
Yeah.
But when I rewatch the films or I'm rereading passages from the books, there's a different relationship to those things having played the game.
Right.
And so it's really looking over the edge and seeing location. I'm like, oh my God, I'm right there. And in the movie saying, I know what's around that corner in the film. Like if you go down this way, there's actually a thing over here, and there's this person over here, and this thing happened, and it just adds all this richness to everything that you already love.
And not just that, but you're going to add your own story.
Yeah.
So you know what happens around that corner because you did something.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the quick answer, just to have something different, is I just love being on a broom. I just love looking at the whole world and just being like, okay, I can just go.
I can go there.
That vantage point, yeah.
There's just something exhilarating about it that feels very different in that kind of open air and on that thing. It just it's kind of incredible, yeah.
And wrapping it up, for me, it's just bringing the community together with it and sharing those stories, because it is your
les
story.
plateformes, c'est
You are going to be writing
Xbox, Series,
this is
PS5
your unique
et PC, je crois.
experience within this, and even within the things that
Ou
it's saying,
simplement
it's going to be
Xbox
your
Series
unique
et
experience.
PS5, non, je crois que ça sort sur PC aussi.
From we're all approaching it
Ça
from
sort sur
different
PC
places, and I think that's going to be really cool the way that everybody brings those things together. All right, and that's everything that we have to show you today. I know maybe it wasn't everything you wanted to see, but it was a whole lot of stuff. Character creator, little mini tour of Hogwarts there, just a small part of it, a little bit of combat, and we do have some more stuff.
On aurait aimé en avoir plus.
In the future. Hogwarts Legacy
Oui, mais Switch,
releases on February 10th, 2023,
Switch, voilà.
and is available for pre-order now. But
Switch,
on ne sait pas quand.
Ça arrivera un jour, mais pour l'instant, considérez que non pour l'instant. Considérez que non pour l'instant, mais plus tard. Bien plus tard. C'était trop rapide. C'était beaucoup trop rapide. Première fois qu'on voit ça sur l'hippogriffe comme ça, je crois. Ah d'accord, ils nous ont coupé ça comme ça. Très bien. Bah ok, super.